Welcome back to Reset and Rise, where we help emerging and aspiring leaders grow with clarity, confidence, and intention. I'm Shirrell Meeks. As leaders, we're often taught to be confident, decisive, and composed. But what's not talked about is this: how much should you share and when? So today, we're talking about the vulnerability paradox and why sharing your values, when done right, can actually strengthen your leadership. Many leaders believe that vulnerability looks like weakness. They think, I need to have it all together, or I shouldn't show uncertainty. If I admit mistakes, I'll lose credibility. So they avoid it altogether. They stay guarded. They stay controlled. But over time, that creates distance. The more you try to appear perfect, the less relatable and sometimes less trustworthy you become. But when you share thoughtfully what you've learned, when you've struggled, how you've grown, you create a connection. And connection builds trust. Vulnerability is not oversharing, being emotional without purpose, or processing your problems in real time with your team. Vulnerability is intentional, relevant, and grounded in growth. It's sharing from a place of reflection, not reaction. Knowing what to share is important, but knowing when to share is what makes it effective. There are 3 moments where vulnerability actually builds trust. 1, after you learn the lesson, not in the middle of the issue. After you've reflected, identified what went wrong, and clarify what you would do differently. That's when your message is clear and constructive. 2, when it supports your team's growth. Share when your experience can help your team avoid a mistake, handle a situation better, or understand expectations more clearly. If it helps them grow, it's worth sharing. 3, when trust needs to be strengthened, sometimes teams need to see that you're human, you take accountability, and you're committed to doing better. That builds credibility, not weaken it. Avoid sharing these things in the middle of uncertainty, when emotions are still high, or without a clear takeaway, because at that point, it creates confusion, not clarity. The goal is not to share everything. The goal is to share intentionally at the right time for the right reason. Now, I remember a time when I made a mistake that directly impacted a client. We had to extend a maintenance window due to internal challenges, but I failed to follow up and communicate that update. So the client attempted to access the system at the expected time, and they couldn't get in. Shortly after, I received the call. They were upset, and understandably so. They had their team come in early, expecting everything to be ready. In that moment, I had a choice. I could try to explain it away, or I could take full accountability. And I chose accountability. I apologized, acknowledged the mistake, and made it clear that the breakdown was on my end. But I didn't stop there. I also explained what we would do differently moving forward. We put checks and balances in place to ensure that if anything like that happened again, communication would not be missed. The client was still frustrated, but they appreciated the ownership. And over time, we were able to rebuild that trust with that client. It didn't happen overnight, but because we were consistent, proactive, and intentional moving forward, we earned that trust back. That experience reinforced something important for me as a leader. Vulnerability is not about highlighting the mistake. It's about owning it, learning from it, and showing how you move forward. So here are 4 ways to use vulnerability effectively. 1, share lessons, not just outcomes. Don't talk about what worked. Talk about what didn't and what you learned from it. That's what people connect to. 2, be intentional about timing. Don't share in the middle of uncertainty. Share after you process the situation. That way, your message is clear, not emotional. 3, connect it to growth. Always link your experience to a lesson learned, a shift, or a better approach. That's what builds credibility. 4, keep it relevant to the team. Your story should serve a purpose. Ask, what will this help them understand? How will this help them grow? If it doesn't serve them, it doesn't need to be shared. When leaders use vulnerability effectively, teams trust them more. Communications become more open. People feel safer speaking up, and engagement increases because they see you're not just leading, you're growing too. Strong leaders don't build trust by appearing perfect. They build trust by being real, intentional, and grounded in growth. So the goal is not to share everything, it's to share what matters at the right time and in the right way. And remember, you always have the power to reset and rise.